Good evening. Welcome to a special edition of Cat Space. I am Cat. With me is my buckets, my sister Luna, and Leon. Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
Before we start, I would like to welcome our newest subscribers and followers. Amazing. You guys are legends. Thank you so much for subscribing to us. We see that you guys are enjoying our content. That's what it's all about. Just make sure you hit the subscribe button and like. We appreciate the comments. We want to give a shout out to everyone who subscribed and written to us. Really appreciate the love. So this is why we are here. We do it for you guys. So tonight's topic is about a game, but what we're doing is we're peeling back that game and talking about the psychological side of this game, and that game is The Sims. We're going to go in turns like we have been, and let's get the show on the road. All right, so
Oh, by the way, you'll lose points if you skip.
What's this, a games night?
No, it's not a games night.
okay, so
Actually, yes, it is, but not
let's
in
get
that way.
started, please. Question 1. What if The Sims is us in game mode, Leon?
Geez. That'd be what would happen, say, if you spend too much time playing The Sims, because if you spend too much time playing The Sims, you'll get lost in that reality and you'll be thinking that you are actually that character. So, one thing that I do, but when I'm playing games, I will only play for maybe an hour or two. That's about it. Because that way, I'm telling myself to walk away after a while because you don't want to be spending too much time. Otherwise, you start getting your reality confused and stuff like that. So it's a blessing and a curse. But I couldn't imagine myself as a Sims character, to be honest, unless somebody makes my skin or something like that. That'd be amazing.
Luna, same question, your answer, please. What if The Sims are us in game mode?
I mean, technically, The Sims are model after human life. That's the whole epilogue of the game, is to build human life or alien life in some expansion packets or whatever nonsense they have. But that's the whole premise of the game. So I think that for there to be a possibility of humans being Sims, it's funnily enough that we're actually the ones writing the goddamn script. I don't think anyone else is writing the script. We're actually, if we are Sims, we're writing that in to existence. So go to work, come home, build a house, have children. But again, when you look at the fundamentals of when The Sims was built, those things already existed prior to The Sims. So therefore, who copied who?
Buckets, same question, your answer, please. What if The Sims is us in game mode?
Well, it seems like it's the kind of reverse. I mean, we're the Sims, but the Sims are also us. So what we have done is effectively created a mirror of ourselves. And we've created a video game. And actually what I find funny is that sometimes the details of SimCity 2000 and also some of the newer expansions of the Sim spin-offs is people cared more about feeding the Sims their food, okay, than they did feeding themselves. So I thought that was actually quite interesting. I certainly did that, and some of my friends that had that game certainly did that. And especially in SimCity 2000, it was interesting the kind of the spin-offs of your decisions that would have on an entire city. So yes, I think we are really just Sims. Only we've created this game is a means of reflection, sort of, and that's why I think it's quite popular.
I think you guys are all correct, but there's something poignant that Leon has brought to mind, is that when we play this game, we invest ourselves in this game and we become the characters, and we spend majority of our time, with our characters, you know, characters wake up, they shower, they eat, they sit there looking for work, they go to work, come home, they get tired, grumpy, hungry, etc. So I think you're right as well. You're all right, is that we are becoming our characters in a very strange, you know, reality. Next question, if Leon, what if the Sims are us, but in a more sort of a gaming universe? Like imagine there's a universe just for games, and this is us.
Um, I think you'd look more at virtual reality. If you wanted to say see yourselves as characters and stuff like that, I think the best way you could see yourself as that way would be virtual reality. But there's also that risk with virtual reality as well, because you could end up walking into walls legitimately and not realize you've walked into walls until you've actually hit a wall. And I've seen video footage of people actually hitting the wall literally while they're playing virtual reality. I don't know how you guys would look at a virtual reality set, but I reckon you guys would probably look close to the same as what you are now. That's I try to make myself say when I'm playing playing a game like say The Sims or whatever, I would try to make my character look pretty much similar to the way I would look now.
Luna, same question, your answer, please. What if the Sims are us, but in a game universe?
What if the Sims are us but in the game universe? They are. They are us in the game universe. Again, the whole pretense, the model of Sims is mimicking human life and all the cultures and customs that come with it. And I really think that was the whole game. There was not a win. You don't win at the end of the game. You don't. It literally just mimics life. And that's, you know, apart from a few more dramatic days happening, I believe that they already are us in the game universe.
Buckets, same question, your answer. What if the Sims are us, but in an alternate game universe?
Well, that's why it was created. As Luna said, Sim City and also The Sims doesn't actually have an ending. In fact, we determine their journey, so to speak. In fact, I remember a friend of mine called Andrew McClay, who we would go over to his house and play The Sims. And there were 4 family members. One was a little girl. The father was a gangster. The mother did all the shopping, and the son did just went to school. But we got the daughter to do all the cooking, and we never fed the daughter because we wanted the daughter to be a ghost. I guess that kind of reveals a little bit of our narcissism kind of thing.
Spoiler alert.
Wow. The way
You know,
people play that game would call into question a large majority of their personality for sure.
yeah, right. So I think in a way, it's quite interesting how people would just. I think SimCity is really a game for testing to see what would happen if I make this decision. And it may not even be a good decision. It may be a really bad decision, but we want to know what would happen if we made said really bad decision. So that's basically what it is.
Next question. Are the Sims similar to who we are now? For example, do our emotional characteristics affect other humans around us, Leon?
No, I wish I was playing The Sims after all this time, so that way I could understand these. Um, it's hard to be honest. It's hard for me to say because the only Sims that I've played is what Buckets has been talking about after all this time, and that's Sim City. So, I would imagine, I would imagine, developing certain traits and stuff like that. I would imagine doing, I would imagine that for me, for myself anyway.
Luna, are the Sims similar to who we are now? For example, do our emotional characteristics affect other humans around us?
I mean, I think it's a laughable offense that we're comparing Sims to us and not the other way around. I mean, us to the Sims and not the other way around. And in saying that, the Sims. Sorry, can you just repeat the question one more time? I'm so sorry.
Are the Sims similar to who we are now? For example, do our emotional characteristics affect other humans around us?
Okay. The second part of that question, yes, of course. Humans are the creators of emotions and emotional capabilities and personality traits and all that magical jazz. The Sims, I truly feel they're modeled after us. Like it's not there's no other way around. Like in the Sims, you can literally build up whether the person's artistic or sporty or smart, academic, whatever you want to call it. There's those. It might not be developed as human emotions. I have to say that, but there's a aspect of the Sims that really mimic that.
Yeah, and Buckets, you're a counselor. Answer this for me. Are the Sims similar to who we are now? For example, do you believe or do our emotional characteristics affect other humans around us?
So it's interesting what the answer that Luna gave and also what Leon said, because the not SimCity, but the other Sims, the more 3D Sims where you actually have a family. The Sims represents a broken home. So if you upset one Sim, just say you upset the father over and over and over and over and over again, and he takes it out on his wife and the rest of the family, okay, then they're all going to get really grumpy as well, which isn't too similar, isn't that, it actually is extremely similar, if not the same, to how normal humans react when they prefer to use a scapegoat rather than actually blaming themselves. And this is why people need counseling, because you need to get to the root of the problem about why they're so angry, rather than having them blame their loved ones, if you can call them that. And so all the Sims are really doing is emulating how horrible humans can actually be in a video game. The only difference is we do it for real, whereas the Sims do it in a game. And if you don't like how the Sims are doing, if you don't like how ugly things are becoming, you can always switch it off and delete the game and basically start again. But with humans, you have to seek counseling, change your ways, change your behavior, work out where the root of the problem is, and then fix yourself in order to fix the problem.
I agree with all of you. The only one thing I want to say about this, it's kind of like God's playing a game almost, and seeing how ourselves in the game we react, when in real life we react the opposite. So it's kind of God creating an alternate universe and playing the Sims and having us in that game and testing how far the limits go when he plays it. So it kind of responds to our natural self as humans, rather than, you know, a computerized version of ourselves.
Have you ever basically considered that it's God that's playing the video game and we're the Sims?
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
You know, it's like he's really, really nice guy and doesn't want us to fight and go to war, but at the same time, many wars have happened before, and he's playing us whilst we're playing the Sims.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting concept.
Now, next question, Leon. Is The Sims a psychological game? Leon?
Frozen, I think.
Oh no.
Looks like he's frozen.
I'm sure Leon will be back shortly. It's probably his internet dropped out. Luna, is The Sims a psychological game?
100 million%. It honestly also truly depends on the person too. Like if you're a really chill, easygoing, happy person, your game experience is probably going to be, what's the worst that's going to happen? Maybe the house will catch fire and the sim will be going around it or something. But um, in saying that, it depends on the user because you can have your sim extreme lengths. It just depends on what your choices are in the game, just like life. If you're a more sporty person, you're gonna, or a more adventurous person, you're gonna take more risks. If you're a stay-at-home, like to stay in the safety zone person, you're gonna be a more chill type person. So yeah, in saying that, the Sims can be a psychological game, for some, but for others, it might not be.
Buckets. Is The Sims a psychological game?
Oh, absolutely it is. Do you know what? The Sims is pretty much like The Sims is pretty much like Big Brother almost. We're giving orders to Big Brother, and Big Brother is telling the contestants what to do, and if they don't do it, they get punished, or if they do that, they get rewarded. But it does make you think, are we really the psychopaths that are getting all these, giving the Sims all these terrible things to do? Are we ordering them to do terrible things? And it also, if you do a little bit of self-reflection, then it's almost like secretly we're bringing out our narcissistic ways because we think that the game for which we're playing has no real consequences. And that's exactly the thought process that a real psychopath would actually have when they actually deal with real people. That they think, well, I mean, I don't care about these people, I don't understand their feelings, and therefore I'm not going to care. So who's the real psychopath? Is it really the game, or is it us that is doing these things?
I agree with you both, but I really like the point you brought up, which is this is very similar to Big Brother because Big Brother controls the game. He tells them what to do, when to eat, what they need to be doing, how to live. And that's very pointy of me to say that because it's kind of like we are almost Big Brother controlling the characters that we're playing in that psychological game. Leon's internet, he just mentioned that it's dropped out. Hopefully he should be back on soon. But let's carry on. Luna, are we the narcissistic controller or of the Sims, or are other people controlling us?
Pretty good. Sims, as Philip said, there's no consequence. It allows you to drop every inhibition that you have and just go crazy and put a whole house on fire, trap a sim in a pool for 3 days. Like there's so many possibility of things. Do I think that could be a possible reflection of their own mind on how they think the world looks upon them and controls them? Maybe. I think it speaks a lot when people, like I said this earlier, but I think it really speaks in volume when people play Sims because the way that they play really shows their personality traits, number one, but also those traits that might be hidden in real life otherwise.
Good answer. Buckets, are we the narcissistic controller of the Sims, or are other people controlling us?
Well, we forgot to mention one set of people, and that's the designers of the game. The designers of the game gave us the freedom to treat the Sims however we liked. Okay, and so therefore they're the psychopaths who basically created the game to begin with. We're the psychopaths to treat the Sims however we like. Okay, so at the end of the day, we're all narcissists, doing what we do best and being horrible people, as is the precursor of how the entire human, you know, lifespan has always has. And it's also interesting as well because it proves that for 95% of your life, you might be a really, really nice person that puts other people ahead of itself. But when it's a video game with people with no souls and you've been given the freedom to treat people however you like, there's a really high chance that you're going to treat them terribly if given the option that you can.
Good answer. Welcome back, Leon.
Oh boy, two streams in a two podcasts in a row and two podcasts where the internet dropped out for some reason. Sorry,
Don't
mate.
worry, this is important.
Yep, here's a question. Are we the narcissistic controller of the Sims, or are other people controlling us?
I think in my mind, with a lot of people controlling us, telling us what to do, telling us what to think, how to think, all that sort of stuff. I think I try to avoid that. So, uh, me, I would make sure that I wouldn't do that. Say with my own characters, I wouldn't be that way. I'd be probably the same person as you guys see and you guys talk to. Um, I I wouldn't push that onto say my own character.
But can I say, if given the option where part of the game is that you have complete control over these people's lives and there literally are no consequences if they burn, die, their house gets set on fire, they, as Lena pointed out, they swim for 3 days, would you allow this to happen? Because you got to remember, you're like God, to these,
Oh, I would try. Well, I would try to say. Save lives. By teaching. Like the basic essentials. That's what I would do. I would teach my characters the basic essentials. To survive.
Yes.
So I won't be that kind of person saying, "Hey, look, I'm gonna jump off a cliff. You want to jump off with me?" No, I wouldn't be like that. Never.
Good answer. Good answer. Next question. Once again, Leon, is society turning us into the Sims?
Oh, definitely. I think society is because we're seeing all this negative stuff around lately. It makes a lot of people want to withdraw to another reality. And in some cases it'd be the video games that we play. I just want to get away from the crap that I'm constantly seeing on TV. I don't want to hear that. I'll just, go back to my old fantasy land and forget about what's happening in the world for a couple of hours or something like that. That's what and I've got to admit, that's what I do. I've been playing one game for 20 something years. So and I still play it today. And that's my release, get away from the crap that that I could be dealing with, or the crap that I'm hearing or seeing on the news.
Good answer. They're not. Same question, your answer. Is society turning us into the Sims?
Again, we already were. You don't see any variation of a 9 to 5, or you don't see any variation of what it means to be family in The Sims, or it's quite traditional relationships, a partner and a partner and kids, or a partner and a dog, or a partner and kids, or it's truly built to mimic human life. So I don't see it being the other way around at all.
Good answer, Buckets. Is society turning us into the Sims?
Yes and no. Our society is changing rapidly, based on the fact that we can literally change our own gender if we want to. Before we couldn't do that. It was a pretty straightforward nuclear family. You had a woman and a man can only get married and they would have children, and that was fairly straightforward. Now a man and a man can get married, a woman and a woman can get married. A woman who's wants to be a man can declare themselves as a man, or they don't even need to do that. They can just declare themselves as none and not even have a gender if they so choose. Our society is quite complex now. There's more freedom, so to speak. I don't think it's as simple as basically saying we're becoming like The Sims, although there are certainly aspects of The Sims that are becoming sort of a norm in our society, like wokeism, where if you kind of don't agree with society's narrative, then people become emotionally trapped, which is very sim-like, where you have these sort of people, these computerized people that are literally emotionally trapped. And if they can't get their emotions out, then they'll literally use the other family members as scapegoats, or they'll die within the system and they'll turn into ghosts or have something else that'll happen to them. So from that perspective, yes, that's very sim-like, but in today's society, it's way more complex than it was 20 years ago.
Couldn't agree more. Like for me, I would have to say, society is turning us into Sims. Luna, you've all pointed out something, but particularly you, Luna, where you said, you know, there is no 9 to 5. Basically, all of us have to get up, shower, eat, go to work, come home, clean the house, make breakfast, lunch, or dinner, whatever, go out shopping. Basically, with all of this intact, we literally are becoming The Sims because all we do is we get up, shower, eat, go to work, come home, sleep, get up, and do the same thing over and over and over again. And that's what they're doing as well. So we're kind of, for me, it's kind of psychologically, we are looking at ourselves in a game. We are doing exactly the same things as our characters in the game, which is repeat the cycle. You know, there's no your accounts, as you said, you know, there's no way of releasing humans in this world. We can release our emotions, but within a computerized game, they can't release their emotions because there's no one to talk to, no one to let out what they're thinking or feeling or psychologically going through.
Can I add something to that? You can talk to someone. There's always someone you can talk to. There's always someone that's out there to support you if you're sad or depressed or whatever. However, what's 100% true is there are people that will feel that they're trapped. But there's also another thing where it's like, well, if you rewrite the way that you think, and that's where we're different from The Sims. The Sims can't really be rewritten unless a designer decides to rewrite them. But we can rewrite how we think, whether that's in a positive way or a negative way. And if we can rewrite the way that we think, our entire lives change with it. So we can either be extremely depressed, extremely angry all the time, or we can see the world from a happy, positive perspective and see the world as I'm happy 90% of the time and I'm loving life. But we have to be the ones that change, kind of thing. You have to do that yourself. Okay, that's all I'll add to that.
Beautiful. One last question. Here we go. Leon, how do we reshape our destinies?
I would let's see. Well, how would I do that? By what my own character would do, or how I would have my own character do it, and I'm thinking to myself, right, and I'd be thinking to myself, all right, my character's doing that. Why aren't I doing that? And it's about mental. It's in the mind. It's a mental thing in the mind. Why aren't I doing that? I should be doing this, but what this character should be doing. and something will click. If you could if it happens, you can figure it out. You can always just change it, and then you're like, okay, my Sims character, my character is doing this. I could do this. I won't need my Sims character anymore. I could turn off the game and live my life the way that I would have the Sims character live my life. But yeah, that'd be one way of changing my way.
Beautiful answer. Luna, same question, your answer. How do we reshape our destinies?
In regards to the game,
Yes.
um,
But
I think the game gives us a good look on the outer perspective of looking down from the sky type of agenda. And it really allows you to step back and actually creatively construct an entire life, an entire house, an entire personality, an entire decorative style, an entire life, like an entire being, and that would be everyone's ultimate um goal or achievement or special magic thing that they got going to heaven. I feel like that would be everyone's aim. I would love to be able to create and control life like how God controls it. So yeah, that's my
buckets. Same question, your final answer. How do we reshape our destinies?
It's interesting that you keep referring to Sim City or The Sims as a game. What made these games particularly interesting is they don't have an ending, like I've said before. But what's also interesting about them is the things that we as humans basically want from Maslow's hierarchy of needs. What do we need? Well, we need shelter. We need food. We also need someone to love us. Okay. We also need validation. And to get to this sort of peak of what we want to feel amazing about ourselves, whether it's the best job or the best type of feeling of being or whatever, may not be really possible or really, really hard to achieve without sustaining the lower needs first. Because remember, you can go up from a need and then down from a need very, 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 very quickly, right? But to get to the top 1%, you can easily obtain that in the sim world, right? But maybe it's going to be harder in real life. And what made the sim game so great is that you could, if you wanted to aspire to something that you've always wanted in your life but could never actually accomplish due to the fact that you don't have the money for it, due to the fact that you don't have the education for it, due to the fact that you don't have the support for it, you could definitely get them in this game. But if we were to reflect upon that, we could go, oh, well, it takes like a day to educate myself in the sim world. If I was to do a degree, then maybe I can push myself closer to this reality. So it is possible to get up to the top 1%, but it takes a lot of work to get there. It's just not going to take a single day or 20 minutes or 10 minutes or however long it takes in the sim world. But there is a slight point of view or a slight percentage where you could, if you're lucky, if you have the right resources, you could get exactly what you want. And people have done it. Why can't you? You just have to create the right conditions to get exactly what you want. But in the sim world, it was just easier to obtain these goals.
Perfectly said. thank you so much for this spectacular episode. I really enjoyed, Leon's input, Luna's input, and specifically your input. I think you guys had some really, 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 really strong, valid points and so much information. If you're struggling out there, please know it's okay. You can step away from these games. There is a number to call, Lifeline, I think 131114. So you can speak to someone or Beyond Blue. And thank you so much for watching our episode tonight. Please don't forget to subscribe and like and leave some comments for us. Thank you to the newest of subscribers. And where Leon's pointing out, thank you so much for showing us a lot of love. We really appreciate you. I love you guys. Please stay safe. Until then, we will see you for Australia Day. God bless. Good night.
Bye.